Hello, my name is Paul Witherspoon. I am a business English teacher. I have been teaching business English for 5 years now, and I help professionals to grow their confidence, to grow their fluency, and to grow their careers with business English. And I am here with Alessandro. Alessandro has been with me for almost 1 year now, actually. Yeah, we
Yeah,
met last year, May of last year. So one of my older students. And when Alessandro came to me, I think you had just arrived in Milan, right? Or something like that.
no, I just
You,
started to work. Yeah,
yeah, you just started working, but he stays in the house. Like I taught almost everybody in his house where he stays. Like he's from like near Trani, I think. Or are you from Trani? Yeah,
Trani,
he's
yeah,
from
Trani.
Trani. And I taught his roommate, Francesco, and Severio, and Pier Paolo. And then I taught their other friend, Massimo, and then
Yeah,
Massimo's friend, Paolo.
yeah.
So it's just like a group of the Trani people. And it's been fun. And yeah, so he's growing his career, he's growing his fluency, he's growing his confidence. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. One moment. Okay, so the first question that I have for you is, when you first met me, what was your motivation for learning English?
The main motivation for me was to improve my English skills because I during my job I need to work with English, writing and listening and speaking. So during my university career, I didn't study in English. I studied also Italian exams. So when I started to work, I needed to improve my fluency, to improve my English skills for my career.
Okay. And the next question that I have is like, what was your situation like with your English before you met me?
I met you, I didn't speak English. I only read English paper, but I didn't speak because I never spoke English in my life. I know Italian and Spanish, but English I didn't use English in my life. So in this year I improved my English skills, my fluency, and but I need to improve more.
Okay. And after you started with me, like, what is your English like now?
Now I think I improved thanks to you, and also
Thanks. Thanks to you.
thanks to you, and also thanks to the exercises that you told to do,
Told
because I
me to
think
do.
told me to do, because I think the everyday exercise is very important to learn a new language, English, Spanish, and what else. So thanks to you, I'm improving, but I need to improve.
Okay. And like, what are you doing now to improve your English?
Now, to extend my in to ex- to learn more English words, I'm using everyday Duolingo, more or less 30 minutes per day. And since the last month, I'm also improving my fluency with
I have been.
uh,
I have
I
been.
have been improving my fluency, talking almost every day with myself.
Mhm.
In particular, at the end of the day, or at the end of the day, I I I talk to myself. I tell to myself
I tell myself.
I tell myself my my day to use English, even if I don't use English during the day.
And how has your fluency changed specifically?
Specifically, when I started, I knew a lot of a lot of
Words.
English words, but during a conversation, I needed to think the word
Think
that
about.
them.
You can say I had to think about
I had to think about
words.
the words that I needed to say. Now is a bit different because I improve my fluency. I My brain goes faster, thinking in English, and thanks to these exercises that I told.
That I do. Okay. And when did you realize your progress? Like when did you notice your improvement? Was it an exact
For,
event or moment?
for example, I noticed my progress during a conversation with the English people. For example, during the last year, I met my Erasmus friends that came from England, but we cannot communicate it in English, but also
In the past, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you said we couldn't communicate in the past.
We couldn't communicate in English because I knew only Spanish language, but
Spanish language.
Spanish language. But 2 or 3 months ago, I met him, and we had English conversation. So this is very important for me.
Yeah. I like that, like when you can see the difference.
My progress. Yeah, my
Yeah,
progress.
because when you're doing it every day, it's difficult to see the progress
Yeah,
until like you talk to someone and then you can say, wow, like I remember 1 year ago it was difficult
yeah,
and
yeah.
now it's faster. Yeah. Okay. And do you have any other stories like this when you saw
Uh,
improvement or when other people saw improvement?
oh, for example, I noticed my progresses also during
My progress?
my progress
Uh-huh.
also during a conference call that I have done the last month with an English
That I
client.
did, that I did.
That I did during the last month
Mhm.
with an English client. Also, in this case, during the last year, I didn't understand nothing during this
I did.
conference.
I couldn't understand
I couldn't I couldn't understand nothing during
anything.
anything during this conference school.
Conference
But
calls.
now I follow and I understand the conversation, so it's simpler for me to to work.
All right. And then the last question that I have for you is what advice do you have for students who are thinking about taking lessons?
For me, the most important advice is to to exercise every day, because for me, it's useful to study English, for example, for 3 hours one day, and for 3 hours the next month or the next week. The most
Useful or
important,
useful?
useful, useful is no, useless.
Useless. Okay.
Useless, yeah, is useful to have a practice every day,
To practice every
also
day.
to practice every day, also 20 or 30 minutes, but the rule number one of Paul is consistency.
Yes, indeed.
And I agree.
That's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Okay. And thank you so much. Do you have any other comments that you want to share with my students?
No, to study every day and to improve English skills, because in for every work, for every environment, the English language is fundamental for me.
You said it is what?
What?
What was the last word? It is what in English?
Fundamental,
Oh,
important,
okay. Fundamental. Fundamental.
fundamental, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good job. We'll continue the
Thank you.
class now.